Right. It's realtor time.
Hi, you guys. Happy Aloha. What's today? Wednesday. So thank you so much for being here. I'm really excited that we have Alex here. And, you know, I was not able to attend the last time that Alex was here. And I heard raving reviews because I was on the mainland. Because I travel, you know, once in a while. Occasionally. And so Alex reached out, and he was going to be in Honolulu and offered to come over to Maui to do the Path to Love. We talked about what we wanted to do. I think this is the greatest class for you guys to be able to look at what he's been able to do in his business and growing luxury, whether you want to get into it, learn how to do it, or grow what you're already doing in luxury, which some of you are. I think it's really great. And not only that, we actually had a really awesome conversation this morning that I want to share with them because they may know people that could benefit from this. So Alex also has successfully, he's built a very successful team that he has in Nashville. So he's great at team building. So he can help us with some of that as well. And he is kind of an expert, I would say, I mean, compared to anybody else that I've met, on succession planning for realtors. So say you know somebody who may want to either get out of the business, who's been in it for a while, or has to leave the business for some reason, for a temporary or permanent period of time. He really has a lot of insight and has helped people be able to create a passive income stream, which we teach you in KW, right, in the MRA model and team building. However, you might know an individual person or an independent broker that had built a business and wants to exit the business or whatever the case, they're done with it, right? He was saying, you know, sometimes people just want to walk away. So if you know somebody like that, Alex is willing to do a consultation with them and help them and give them the information they need. And it's also a win-win because through succession planning, usually they're going to partner with an agent to help them take that database and that business and work it. So I just wanted to mention that
for
too.
Sure.
And
I don't have any secrets.
I'm going to have him come back again next year, and we'll do maybe an event around the succession planning that you can invite people to as well. Today, though, he's going to share the path to luxury, so please help me welcome Alex Brandau.
Usually we like the big, welcome music goes.
Oh, and I didn't give you a mic.
So.
Yay! Oh yeah, take that off for a second. Yay!
Thank you so much.
Wow. Okay.
I'm so thrilled to be here, y'all. Thank you for having me. Thanks. It's so fun to teach, and if you don't know, one of the best things to do to learn something or that you want to learn is go teach it, right? Even if you don't know anything about it, that's a great way to start. And genuinely, that's our path. I came to be in luxury by going to a family reunion a few years ago, and all I did at family reunion that year was luxury stuff. And I came back from luxury and was like, you know what, like this is where we're going. And I came back into our market center and started, I didn't officially ask for permission, but I started our luxury committee, right? And said, I'm coming in, like I'm going to do this on ALC, and we did it. And I was involved in ALC, mind you, but I said, this is our focus. And I helped in other spaces too. And now I'm still one of the directors of luxury in our market center. And I think people, and our goal here is to show you some of the tools, but also to make this really super approachable, right? Is anyone a luxury member now? Member of Internet Luxury now? Cool, I thought so, you look familiar, we've met before. So, nice to see you again. You too. Yes, so you are, anyone else, Mount Luxury member? Okay, cool. So again, this is not a pitch for that. I don't get paid by KWRI. I'm not getting paid at all, right? This is not about that. This is about growing your market share. This is about growing your mindset and all of the opportunities that are here because you are sitting on the precipice of so much opportunity. So, is that cool? Okay, ready, set. I'm going to tell you now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about me so you can understand that I'm actually qualified, right? I didn't just walk in off the street and, on my break from Macy's this afternoon. I'm going to show you a little bit about us because I think that's always interesting, right? What does a guy from Nashville have to teach you all about luxury, right? And I'm going to tell you some of those stories. But I am going to ask you in just a minute, so I'm going to tell you now so you can think about it as I'm going to talk about myself for just a second. What did you come to learn today? That's a really important thing that I ask in every class that I teach at any level. So if you come next year to Succession Planning or Path to Luxury 2.0, which will also be available, that we're bringing next year, what did you come to learn? You're spending time away from your family, your friends, your business. What is it that you need to have when we leave 6 hours from now? That was funny, thank you. The one of you that laughed. When we leave, what is it that you need to walk out with? Because I want to know, and I'll make sure we weave that into the conversation today. Does that sound fair? Right? You're going to find I'm a participatory guy too, so it's just better if you participate, because if you don't, I'll just call on you. So a little bit about me. I'm a frequent international speaker, family reunion France, main stage panelist. That's brand new. It's the first time that's actually come up. That's coming up in January. I've been a national, regional, and luxury speaker on luxury real estate. I've been a panelist at Family Reunion, US. I've also been a panelist at Luxury Retreat. So I'm the founder and director of the Keller Williams Luxury International Committee and our Market Center, 2019 retreat panelist, top luxury agent in the Southeast region several times. And I actually had one of the top 3 sales in our market last year. Now we're in a non-traditional luxury market, right? When you say luxury, who thinks of Nashville? Cool, me neither. Right, that's why I'm here teaching this. However, we are a very non-traditional luxury market. We are thriving because our top 3 market sale in all the market was, any guesses on the sales price?
6 million.
6 million. 15.
8.
4.75. Right? So why do we, right? That just shows you market comparisons. We're going to talk about how we can define the different levels and tiers of luxury, from traditional to high-end and then ultimately luxury across all kinds of markets. Okay, we'll talk about that today too. But some of the last 5 clients we had an oil executive moving his family to Nashville from Louisiana, an attorney moving from Miami, family selling a penthouse. That was the big sale of $4.75 million. Business development manager moving and upsizing in Brentwood, and a president of a nonprofit buying a greenhouse. So that's just kind of who we work with. And a little bit about my company, Alexander Brandau Partners. By the way, I'll tell you now, I did bring enough cards for all of you. However, I'll tell you my socials that I like. We're big on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Those are our socials that we use. If you care to follow or connect with us, those are the ones we use most frequently. So we're in the consistently in the top half of 1% of producers of all realtors nationally. Over 85% of our clients are actually referred as previous clients, or from referrals or our referral partners. So we're very database. So you get context of kind of how we talk and where we're coming from. I'm not a cold call guy. I'm not an expired guy. I'm not a dialer. We're high relationship, high experience, high. I've sold houses to 6 people that I went to kindergarten with.
Wow.
Okay? I know it looks like I just got out of kindergarten. I didn't. I have a kindergartner that's almost taller than me in my life. That was funny. That got it too. However, it just shows you how real and authentic we are and genuinely are about those relationships. So top 1% of KW. The one that I'm most proud of here is this one, 6-time MREA with over 1 million in GCI, including this year. Really proud of that. And for a while, we were consistently one of the very few in the Southeast region that were still and consistently out there and up there. But we're back on that. We've also top 40 under 40 in Nashville, and National Emerging Leader Award winner, judge, and finalist. So all that to say, we know what we're talking about, right? We've been here, we know that. Hey there. Hi. And so it's always nice to know some of the keys to our success. This was actually the favorite takeaway from somebody the other day, this script that I use. I tell people, well, we don't care if you need us 6 days or 6 months from now. Let's get together now, get to know each other, and talk about your goals. I think that's a powerful, powerful thing. It gives people perspective, especially for you guys, right? You may meet and connect with someone, and they may not buy for 18 months or 2 years, so you just never know. So anyway, bring dedication, consummate professionalism to every client and every transaction, passionate leadership guidance in one of people's biggest emotional transactions. But also we go through and talk about how much we care about one of their biggest financial assets, right? One of the biggest things that they have in the planet, on the planet, right? And it is super emotional. So I'll tell you another thing that's on here is I'm also a huge service person. I'm very big on experiences. Love all the Ritz-Carlton books and things that are out there like that. Very experiential. Disney, like I love to track and keep up with all those type things. So, ready, set? Cool, I told you you were gonna have a part to participate. So tell me, what do we need to do to be successful today? What did you come to learn? Ready? I warned you, so you're prepared. Go. I see you draw the breath. You're the one. Lead off. I saw you.
I'm ready.
No high school pauses, by the way, either. We don't do that high school pause nonsense either. Like, we're gonna make it happen. So,
Okay.
ready, set.
So how do you service this clientele? I've been told that this clientele requires special service, and so what would those key points be that would differentiate from, I guess, the non-luxury?
How to give great service? Definitely. We'll talk about that. Yes, sir.
How to break into the luxury market.
Love it. We'll talk about that for sure. Who else?
How to leverage the KW luxury brand in marketing myself as a luxury
Dude, did you
agent.
talk to Leslie? I mean, like, did you know that she wants me to talk about that?
Yeah.
That's the president of like Keller Williams Luxury. So,
Yes.
okay, very good. How to leverage. Okay, got it. Definitely talk about that. Yes,
How to
ma'am.
get your luxury listings into luxury solds.
How to sell it. Okay, who else?
If there are different marketing expectations.
Ooh, differences. Okay, yep. Anybody else? Going once. I know somebody right now is going, I want to ask, but I don't want to ask.
What are some reasons not to get involved?
What would keep, wait, what?
What are some reasons that would not be a good reason to get involved?
That was not the question I felt in the room.
You can write the one.
What would be the reason not to get involved in
That's a
luxury?
good
Yes.
question.
Okay, I'm interested in that. What would you not get into luxury? Right?
Yes.
Cool. Going once, twice. Ah, there we go.
I've heard that you need a big budget for marketing when you have a luxury listing.
Okay. Okay.
How to leverage past success with the luxury credentials, I guess.
Okay. What? Anybody else? So if we do that in the next 6 hours, we'll be successful. All right? Time just in time for dinner. Anybody else? One more time? Going once? Twice? Cool. This is going to be a good class. We're going to hit on those. I promise you before we end, I'll leave time for questions at the end, and I'll make sure we go through all this. And that way you're not just sitting here like talking, right? You know, me talking at you. That's not fun. It's more fun to tell stories, for us to interact, and build good memories and things like that. Okay? So, ready, set. Does this audio go to that, or does it go to this?
It projects there, but it'll pick it up in the microphone.
Yeah, but if I don't nail that.
Yeah, so whichever one, yeah.
Okay, got it. So, ready, set. It's like choking me out on the thing. I think I have a bigger neck than the last person that was here. So, what are some tools and resources you can use to be a leader in luxury real estate, right? That's always one of the things you can talk about. There goes one of them right there. Good time, good timing. Diana, well done. We'll see you again. Come back in about 3 minutes. Let's talk about some of the tools. That's one of the things everyone always talks about, right? As I say, what are some of the tools? What are some of the key tools? So I co-wrote this class with Kay Evans, who is the owner of the Southeast region, has been a leader in luxury and forever. She is unbelievable to work with, and we were sitting at Luxury Retreat. She's like, you know what, someone needs to bring this class out, right? The path to luxury, how to get involved, what are the tools and resources. So again, feel free, by the way, I'll tell you in advance, I talk fast if you can't tell. I get excited, and you're welcome to record, you're welcome to take pictures, you're welcome to do whatever you choose, right? You can tag me, all that good stuff, and they're recording me, so it's going to keep me from cussing, and owning KW cares, money forever. Hi there. And so, anyways, every time they would need more, they'd just be like, there's Alex's video, $50. So it's going to hold me accountable. So, Affluent Customer, anybody read this book? Cool, so this is a nice one. There's a lot of good ones we'll talk about and weave several different ones into this conversation today. But this is a nice one, just talking about selling luxury lifestyle. And what I like to tell people all the time in real estate is this. Simply, your path to luxury exists through the people you already know, like, and trust, right? How do I break in? Well, we're going to show you some very specific tactics, some very specific strategies that I actually use. I did not grow, there's a couple ways to get into luxury. You can be born into it, right? You can marry into it, or you can actually, ultimately earn your way into those things. I was not one of those people. We've earned our way in. We've partnered with people. We've aligned with people. And that's been one of the ways to get involved. But this is nice. One of the key things to learn is to start preparing, right? One of the things people don't do is I love people that are brand new in real estate. It's like, hey, I just got my license, #luxury real estate. I'm like, it does not work like that. Right? You don't just get to roll it out and like you got your license, like, cool, $100,000 check, come get it. The MCA's got it ready for you. No, it doesn't work like that. But every single week in Nashville, Tennessee, that happens on Instagram. Hey, I just got my license, that's cool, #luxury real estate. I'm like, that's not how this game works, because you better know how to talk about some certain things. Just this week alone, I was talking with someone and we went into a whole conversation and they were like, what's that really nice, the really, really good champagne? Right? Right, see? Right? So all of a sudden, we have three different opinions, right? This particular individual said Cristal. I would have gone Dom Perignon, that would have been mine, or Veuve, right? Right? So you better be able to have that, right? And I watched someone, and the person they were asking was like, now, does someone that knows the difference, right, that knows, did they notice that?
Yes.
Right? For sure they did. So you've got to spend some time preparing yourself, preparing your mind. Now, I'm not telling you you need to be an expert in all things luxury, right? Like, I can tell you for sure, I wanted to have an Hermes belt buckle forever, right? I looked at one right here in Whalers Village, like, for sure, right? I haven't not bought one because I'm not that guy, right? At the end of the day, right? Like, it doesn't go with the rest of me. Like, it just doesn't. And that's okay. What?
I said you could rock it.
I mean, right, maybe, but when you see the rest of me, like, this is Maui me, like, I'm a bow tie guy all the time, 6 days a week, suit and tie and all that, and I just have too many accessories. I look like a circus clown, right? I'm like Bert and Mary Poppins, like a one-man band, but I got stuff going on. It's crazy. So, the Rob Report, anybody get the Rob Report? Cool, so let me tell you about the Rob Report. It started with cars. It started to be luxury high-end cars. It's now all things luxury. This is really nice. You can find some codes to get nice luxury magazines and start to talk about stuff because your clientele is going to know about these things, right? You don't need to necessarily fake like you do it. You don't need to you get a luxury client, you don't need to go rent a Ferrari, right? You don't need to go to Enterprise Exotic for that day. Like, they know, right? I mean, let's be real, be authentic, be genuine. But there are pieces and parts of this, right? Don't be like, hey, I'm going to get into luxury. I'm going to go buy a $150,000 Range Rover. Like, let's make that money first, right? Let's get $150,000 in our profit share first. You don't have to do it. If you have a really bad car, park around the block and walk up, right? Or borrow someone else's car, right? Come get Lisa's car. She'll let you. It's awesome. It's a little Mercedes. It's amazing, right? Come get it. She'll let you borrow it while she's doing something, right? But don't just run out there and think you're going to buy your way into it, because you won't even know it. Just like the champagne conversation, you won't even know it, but you've been pegged that you don't know, right? So you gotta be real careful with that, right? Be careful. So you gotta start your preparation. It starts with I'll give you another great example, and she knows that I tell this story since it's out there on the web forever. Oh, it's on your all's private Facebook. So there's this young lady that came to Nashville. Nashville is one of the 4 major entertainment cities on the planet, right? LA, New York, Miami, and Nashville. I know you're like, yeah, right, like Nashville's not in that conversation. But it is, because all these entertainers, all these stars want to come, and even athletes, moving to Nashville because we have no income tax. We have super, super affordable properties, and they're amazing. And so people are coming, especially to move to Nashville, to set up their primary, and then when they're traveling or out and about, you know, that's their primary house. And again, compared to some of these other markets, if you're, you know, an artist or what have you, we have the far and away the best affordable luxury compared to those 3 markets. You know, so that's what's driving some of our business. I lost my train of thought there. I was telling you.
Entertainer.
Living in Nashville, buying in Nashville. It's little.
Start out entertainer.
Yeah.
Talking about not faking it.
Yeah, so don't fake it, right? They know, right? I mean, I've got a good friend in New York, Seth Levin, who talks about, I got it. So there was a young agent, one of those hashtag new agent, hashtag luxury real estate people. We were in a meeting just like this. And she's like, oh my gosh, I know this person who knows Red Akins. Anybody know, or not Red Akins, Thomas Rhett. That's his son, Thomas Rhett. Anybody heard of that guy? He's a country guy. Cool, it's just us. But anyway, he's a really successful country music star, right? One of the top selling guys right now. And she tells a room like this, she's like, I can't wait to get my hooks in it. And I'm like someone's talking about accent earlier. She said that, I swear to God. In front of like 20 people, and I was like, wow. And so we had a break, and I was like, come here. I was like, come here. Like, I appreciate your aggressiveness, and I appreciate where you're coming from. But do you know that somebody in this room, in this small town, knows that man? Somebody can get you 1 degree closer to him, but you just put your head in the guillotine because you said, I'm gonna get my hooks in it. And I was like, that is not gonna happen, I promise you. And anyone else that has any other connection to any other celebrity is like, not that girl, hell no, for sure. And unbelievably, she listened to me. And she has backed out, and she is doing some amazing things and is working with some celebrities and athletes all of a sudden. So I tell you that to understand why we do things like this. Why am I telling you? I'm not giving you a code so I get $1 for every, you know, Rob report that I sell. I don't have that. You look up your own code and find it. But you can find this for very inexpensively. But you better be able to talk about some of these things, right? We have 5 Bugattis in Nashville. 5 total. I mean, that's important. You better be able to know to talk about that. We don't have a ton of exotic cars. I like talking about cars because it's fun because we don't have a lot of them, right? There's less than 100 Ferraris, right? So we're very approachable luxury, right? It's very, you know, Rovers are about the middle of the road. But if you have one of those super exotics, you know, it's just, and but some markets you better know about that, right? Because they probably have them. I have a client right now, we talked about it earlier as we were preparing for the class. I have a client, and like, he knows he has more money than I do. Like, duh. You know, he has 7 houses all over the world. He flies his plane wherever he wants to go, right? And yet, like, you don't need to put on too many false pretenses because it'll make them worry about what else is fake, right? Be authentic, be genuine, and work on your content. So this is an oldie but a goodie. Anyone ever heard of the McKay 66? This is a really old book. It's a fabulous book. It's called How to Swim with the Sharks and Survive. So again, I told you I'm an experienced guy, I'm a relationship guy. This is actually right out of the book. You're welcome to take a picture of that. It's only 19 of the 66. You can look it up and get the rest or get the book. The idea of the McKay 66 was a man who started a really great business, and Harvey McKay, who was out, and he's like, I'm gonna have the most amazing relationships with my clients ever. And so he used the McKay 66 of what would I need to know about my clients such that they would never, ever want to leave me. Guess what he sold, by the way? Any ideas? It's really exciting.
Encyclopedias.
Boats, encyclopedias. 2 more, what? Vacuums, close.
Office supplies.
Office, that's exactly right. Envelopes.
Oh.
Envelopes. So, where are we if an envelope salesman is working to find 66 items about his clients to build and deepen the relationship? What are we doing in real estate to deepen, to truly connect? to truly go in here and do things like this. You go through and find some certain things. There's certain, they're appropriate, approximate height, appropriate weight. You don't be like, hey, how you doing? How much do you weigh? Right? I'm not telling you to do that, right? Don't get a complaint filed because Lisa will call and be like, Alex, you told all them to go tell them how much you weigh. Like, don't do that. Yes, it says approximate, okay? But you need to know, is it important if you want to ask about someone's education? Could that be a sensitive thing?
Yeah.
Could it be, right? Could it be, you want to ask about someone's military service? Could that be sensitive? Yeah. Absolutely, right? My father's a Vietnam veteran and does not like to talk about it. 100%, PTSD and 100% disabled because of that. Does not like to talk about it. My grandfather, World War II, talks about it all the time, right? Different reception on the way they came home. You need to know, their experience. Did they have military service, right? Didn't attend college. Is he or she sensitive about it, right? Military service, attitude towards being in the service. Those are important questions. The reason that we have these things is to think about it when we're meeting with them all the time. All the time when we're meeting with them. What sports did they participate in? Those things like that. Spouse's name, children's names. And it goes on the next page is their pets. Do they have pets? Do they like pets? Do they not like pets? Having those opportunities to find out and go even deeper than that. Like we talked about earlier, there are some people, if they're really into golf, right? If you're into golf, do you care? Is it important? Do you have a kind of golf ball that you, right? If you've played golf, you're really excited and have a lot of shirts of the courses that you've played, right? Yeah, that's an important thing, and so you want to know that. So start to sharpen your saw there about some of those things. Institute for Luxury Home Marketing. This is a fabulous group that that I'm a member of. I'm actually a member of the Guild. They have a 2-day training that they do that's really nice, and they've actually got some online versions. I know they bring it here. In fact, some of their best teachers come here because they don't teach in their own market. Some of them are in LA, and it's obviously very easy for them to get here. But the Institute for Luxury Home Marketing, what's interesting about this is non-brand specific. I was at the Leaders in Luxury event. And being at the Leaders in Luxury event, there were 28 different companies represented. We were far and away in a minority of the population of who was there. A lot of independent brokers, but they're all focused in our same space. That's a huge competitive advantage, right? It's a small room, high content, high qualifications to be there, to be in the room, that's been educated, that's performing at a really high level. Cool? And they have really great resources. This is my friend Michael LaFido. He has this book out here. He also has this podcast. By the way, how much do podcasts cost?
Free.
Yes. So it's a really great idea. I have a podcast too. It's not in here, but I'll tell you about it in just a second. But it's really great to listen to Michael. Michael's straight from Chicago, and he talks just like it too. You know what I'm saying? The best. It's really good. And he's my good friend. That was funny in other places, not here. But no worries. He is a really great guy. He has some things that we talk about here later about how to dominate the listings, how to have some strategies to get things sold, and has a really great podcast. So I highly recommend him. My podcast, just so you know, is called Bowtie Bios. It's a similar format that we go through and I go through, again, everywhere I'm not on Maui, I actually wear a bow tie all the time. My nickname is the Bow Tie Bandit. We have bow tie sold signs. It's in my logo. It's everywhere. Probably in the promotional stuff you saw, I was not dressed like this. This is uncomfortable. What's up?
Aloha.
Aloha. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you.
And so, fabulous podcast. Really recommend Michael. He is super connected internationally, does a training around, but again, that's his podcast. Mine's Bowtie Bios that goes through, and I actually do interviews with some of my friends all the way across the country, and we use some real specific tactics about what do they do, what are some personal habits that they do to stay the best, what are some of their best lessons that they've learned, what are some of the best tools that they have and use, right? Does that make sense? We're really specific on we're really kind of deconstructing some of these best people all over the world. And it's really interesting because we have some people in Minneapolis that are amazing and absolutely world class. One of my good friend, Cynthia Freud. And my conversation with her versus my conversation with my friend Brady Sandahl in Palm Springs, totally and completely different, right? Totally and completely different. And that's why we're doing it, right? We also do the podcast on purpose because we can listen to that in the car while we're doing other things. And I think that's really important for agents as opposed to a video. We're always doing something else, right? I'm also fixing my website and I'm also listening to something and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. But it's nice that can run in the background, and that's how you can hone your craft and really improve your language and sharpen your skills as you go through. Cool? Okay, ready, set. So, events and conferences. So we just got through talking about leaders in luxury. This just happened. It happens in October. That's with the Institute for Luxury Home Marketing. Again, really, really excellent event. 28 different brokerages? I think that's what I said. 28 different brokerages. Hold on, let me flex. Make sure I look good, right? So 28 different brokerages across the country, but they're focused specifically on luxury, right? Specifically focused on doing luxury and the tactics that we use in luxury. So Luxury Connect is an Inman event that's done really good. Again, very hyper specific, very hyper industry related there. And then of course, Who's Who in Luxury Real Estate. This one's actually in Luxembourg, coming up in just a few weeks. And then Keller Williams Luxury International event is also moving to October. And that's going to be a really fabulous thing. It's typically been in April, but we really started having a lot of conflicts with a lot of us that really got into production. A really, really heavy, one of my really good friends couldn't even go last year because she had 20 transactions. They needed all of her attention, and she's like, I can't, just whatever. So we do it in October when things can slow down. They don't always slow down, but they can.
Does he say where?
Which
Did they
one?
announce?
Oh, they haven't said yet.
I'm trying to get it to Maui,
I mean, are you really?
Oh, yeah.
Is there like a committee and stuff?
Maybe
We should get on that.
Yeah, we're working on it.
I've heard, and then this is why I choose KW. Let's see. So, there it goes, it cleared up there. So, how do you break in? This is one of the things we talk about. How do you get to know people of influence and, like their staffs and their organizations? So one of the best ways to do that is connect with their nonprofits, right? People that are affluent and are really very high net worth love and are very, very passionate about their nonprofits, right? I had a really good friend and mentor tell me at some point, you want to get involved with 3 different things. You want to get involved with something in the arts, you want to get involved with something in health, and you want to get involved with something around education. I thought that was good. That, for me personally, I loved that strategy. That was one of the best things that person ever told me, was find one of those things. Because otherwise it's like, well, I'm in all these nonprofits. Like, you can nonprofit yourself out of this business, right? You can give yourself your time, your energy, and not do any of the business. If you find one of those three that are focused there, arts, nonprofit, and education, or health, then you've got, kind of your focus. You've got some genres to focus on and go from there. So the art, they have events all the time. And you can buy a ticket to these things. They're fundraisers, right? You can buy a ticket and you'll be there and you'll have an opportunity to be in the room, to talk with people, to talk to them about, and have those at-bats to see folks. Another great thing I'll tell you, we were just talking about conferences. One of my first coaches ever absolutely gave me some of the best advice ever. If you're ever at a Keller Williams event, either a family reunion or mega camp, you can get to those folks, right? You can. He told me, sit on the left-hand side, that's where the door is. And so you'll see them come off stage and you can run up to them and be like, hey, how you doing? Can I have coffee with you? Right? If you find one that you really hit